Oh dear. Okay, we're live. Finally, we are live. All right, Fambulem. I bring on a warm greetings from the Dinner Media Empire. Me will talk to one of these on this program right now. I'm in Prince Emil Chroma, one of the anchors in the media empire. First of all, I want to apologize for late. We've been planning for do this program exactly 10 o'clock. But unfortunately, due to some constraints, and I still they undergo the constraint them as we speak. So therefore, maybe we'll go get for turn this program off at some point because here there are constraints, and probably we'll go like for do them again as soon as I can see the level at which are they doing right now is a little bit different and strange. But whatever the case, we can always try with level best for see how best we can bring information way really pertinent of significance to with people. And so once again, I say sorry for the delay, and there's a likelihood that this program, might have to be be postponed. We can do them another day, but it's quite important, that we get this message out, and this is important. Like I say, I can't emphasize the importance more. I want to wish Shebam in the meantime, those of us we don't sign on, and I know say people let me know they wait for this program, and I appreciate Una, applaud Una, and it's really important that we get the message out. The thing we want to talk about today, maybe we go beat around Lily bit, so we go able to get at least a sizable number of people and for Kanye, because I'm going to try for keep them very short and precise, sweet and nice, but we go get for do them again on we normal platform as I use an alternative platform tonight because I'm broadcasting differently. I won't say much beyond that. The thing I want to talk about today it's not really strange, but it does get a tinge of newness to them, but a lot of it is not new at all. Now, wait till I try for see. Or which we want to talk about. We want to talk about we current government. Of course, we always are very critical. It's not hidden. We're always critical of the government, and for good reasons, for good measures. To be critical of your government, even if you dey support, not for stop you for being critical. You can't just support everything. Supporting everything is supporting nothing. But what we've decided, or we editorial on this platform, is one of being critical, where now a constitutional duty, now a civic responsibility, and we're not go shy away from doing it. And being critical can help for let you realize waiting you did do wrong, so that you go mass break turn around and do waiting you for do right. Other than that, if we continue for sing praise, like some people are doing, it becomes a problem in itself, because the people that already try for convey the message to, they actually not they get the message. So then they carry on knowingly or unknowingly with waiting and they do. Fambulem, we want to talk about the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, retired Brigadier His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, in frequent trip them abroad and waiting then they claim say the trip is about. Today we want to look at you see I make a want really for dinner studio where are really comfortable, and because we go able for pleat the thing look inside in Bel Air and say as it is, and we get time now and with this wire now time constraint and everything else is there. But notwithstanding, let's see how best we can try to articulate this. In other words, the president in frequent trip them abroad. As soon as I can see the flyer, the question, who profits from these many trips abroad? Many. Over 100 of them, making him the highest flyer among presidents. The highest flyer among presidents, qualifying him as a frequent flyer in the airline business. So we go look at the recent trip to Dubai. We then go attend the Expo 2021. What in that trip they mean? Because at some point in the tell we say nah investment for. I mean, every time there is confusing message they come up from State House, from the president in press secretary, from the press statement where they put out, very confusing. At some point it's like we are going to showcase with cultural heritage, and at some other point it's like it almost sound like an investment conference or platform that then they go on. Well, what thing we do know is a little bit look back at the Dubai Expo 2021. This year's theme, in fact, now postpone, although they may invite the president. But this year's theme is talking about connecting minds and creativity about the future. It also being a sub-theme, very important, very significant for the rest of mankind and the world, which is about sustainability, opportunity, and mobility. So these were the kind of themes. What is Dubai Expo 2021 been there about? It's quite important for let we understand them. And really, Fambole, what this been there about? It's much more about promoting the country called Dubai and not promoting others. It is about Dubai and none other but Dubai. So Dubai call other country them say, but una come una let we can celebrate waiting and waiting una get. Yes, una can showcase waiting una get. But imagine first of all the theme of Dubai Expo 2021, which was about sustainability, opportunity, and mobility. Okay, for the sustainability side of things, then talk about areas where they under focus. And the areas then where they under focus, hence why we they get confused with investments and the rest of it is because with sustainability, the areas then where they under focus now, industries, for example. So when they talk about industries, you remember your industry then, if you get any or half of bring industry. So when they talk about investment, it does one for fit in there, but we go come to that, here shortly and see whether we can turn this case upside down. The misleading case, where in some cases with the Yeri. We talk about financial capital, for example. We get talk about governance, we get talk about employment and education. So now the theme that one day, we then go talk now Dubai. So what you mean by education? You want to go invest the back by education after you don't invest 22% of the GDP now the country? Okay. Employment, then go talk about them. But like I say, Fambulem, the whole showcase was on Dubai exposing itself by calling other members of the world community for can join them and celebrate. And then we can talk about our cultural heritage, or showcase our cultural heritage, where we get questions about again because the delegation where the president Kego for go showcase, the first lady did tweet that we are showcasing our heritage. One get for wonder because you need for look at the nature of the artist there we go. Let we say the Nokex Lansana Sherry, for example, who is a traditional musician, in music the way they sing now in one of the dialects them and in Creole and in dressing and sometimes they can be culturally linked. Steady bongo no go. And you won't get for wonder why. You get for look at the crop of people that we go, like the ambassador. But of course, if you're not the ambassador, they're in need for go. But if you go showcase, waiting Cao Dinero they sing. Waiting they sing. How traditional are those songs? I'm not opposed to the young man in songs, but how traditional are those songs? So whose kind heritage, whose kind culture will you go showcase? When you spend all that baby money, whose culture that one day? And including the other people them, where you go really sing Western song them, rap songs. Let me hear you say, hey, whoa. That's not us. We they expect Rafia, we they expect Gongoli, we they expect how you call the devil and like them masquerade and them mask them. Yeah? Whether na Gunu Gunu, whether na Goboy, whether na Aguda. These are our culture, the dress code, Kaba slots, Kotoku, and then shoes them where they can knit. This is our culture, except for culture don't change this behind them. But when you say you go showcase with culture, these are some of the things that way people be actually they look for, not the things they were familiar, which is more Western oriented. It's more Western oriented. So when they talk about the area, the way they talk about when sustainability. So when they talk about mobility, then when they talk about focusing or fulfilling the gap, we now for develop particular area them we require administrative and now the periphery of things, the government of Sierra Leone, under the auspices of the First Lady Mrs. Fatima Bio, then organize what you go refer to as an investment forum. Investment, will they come to that shortly when we talk about investment, because I just wish we been get with normal depth and witness studio so that we go able for elucidate, articulate the issues they will want to talk about. Fambulem, this na the then and now media platform where they ask Fambulem for let we help for Shebam, let other people in Kanyeri, what will they talk about? Important. Would begin on Expo 2021 and many other things they will want to talk about were linked. So the president on the fly, Boku Wanda, he qualify as a frequent flyer. And one of the most traveled president, if not the most traveled president, in the entire world. But one will be very concerned that when you dey travel, at least na money now you dey spend for go. If not be your money now you dey spend for go, you go expect a fair return. There is a reason why you dey do the flying. So people expect a fair return. Are we getting the fair return? We prompt we for ask the question, who is profiting from this many trips where the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone is making? Now, who that really the profit? So we put them in the context of the Dubai 2021 Expo where they go to. We, at some point, some release they tell we or make we for understand in an investment conference, which is not. And at some other point, it's like for go showcase we cultural heritage. But of course, yes, we go agree with that. Because wait till we also understand this lengthy program with it. You get for buy ticket for go attend the event. Okay? So they invite you and these are some of the conditions. So na boku money na in the president go spend. But I want for let we understand the Dubai 2021 before we go further. The Dubai 2021 Expo wasn't, I repeat, not to be investment summit. But whilst them in the day, they managed for organize on the side. God knows why that was organized, because if it been organized in good faith, then for the see investor then they come, not automatically, but we will have had a brief from the president who has got a habit of not briefing the Sierra Leonean people where they pay them. We now under them money then they get now they get this presidential impress who we can confuse with per diem, where we they understand say they get millions of dollars. The president they get something like $100,000 every time that he spends time outside. And imagine how this we get for be careful how we they say this. Like I say, we they do a research on this because we want for be thorough where we say something na this platform. Time incumbent on them that when do outside, they go able for negotiate well. In fact, now make one let it day in the best state of mind. Where also if the first lady they go along, now some of the thing and down they wait for service the power, look after her and take care of them, make sure say everything they in place, so the party in a good state of mind, but not for try for still the get these huge sums of money. And let we also imagine this now the president we can spend inside a month than inside in your country. I repeat, inside a month, the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, spends more time outside than on the inside, which prompts one for ask, why is it the president spends so much time on the outside? Yes, we know say time and again, it don't give we word what is na man we barely they talk. For a president, we for the talk to him, people barely know they talk. But when he talk, sometimes they can better let not talk. But it don't give you clue once in a while for why it can make it stay so long outside. And I say once in a while, depending again on waiting at the nature of the event where he go attend. But many a times, this president inside a month, he go spend past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Imagine a month get 4 weeks, 5 weeks. 3 of them weeks, then the president day outside. But when he return, and we need for bear this in mind, now the 4th year, now the president get a 5-year presidential mandate. The people get a 5-year presidential mandate. That 5-year day is coming to an end. It's barely 16 months or so left, or 18 months left, which means that the best part of the presidency is spent. And 3 years on, 4 years on, we are yet for see this investor and we the year about. But we go try for breakdown, waiting an investor climate, who's kind of investor they what they look for or we for they look for, and who are the investors then we if we they get barely any, who are these ones that we they get, waiting they mean for we country and we people. Are they satisfying the criteria? We go into that. But I'll touch on Dubai Expo little bit more. Like I say, The Dubai Expo been get a theme. I don't read the theme out to owner. So then break that down into, the theme, sustainability and opportunity. I don't talk about me internet they fluctuate on how for control and trap or look for the new opportunity there way they to the advantage of Dubai. For Dubai, yes, you can go there and yourself go take chance because now gathering of lots and lots of people and country. So you might meet people them on the sidelines, but it wasn't an investment summit. No. So in terms of opportunity, we don't show them. So in the show, a distinct case of interconnectivity action and between them fambul and we go meet the how una for discuss issues, we go help una country them, how una can interconnect, make use of the opportunity way available, where Dubai provide, go make all man meet under one umbrella. In this case, I mean under one country because everybody get their own the building, the theme, the style, with the culture of their country and they or something we represent their country and they we traditional to their country and they like the UK for example now something we where the paradigm the late or what it be represent with believing this is a Sierra Leonean marquee or stand. What was it? Or then build and just build them for we case then opportunity there. So we get to understand this. So inside that country, they, at that time during this program, you get change makers, you get innovators, and then you get then youth them will be involved in different activities. Them, in other words, empower people them we own the future. So again, Fambulem, if you can understand, how did we get there? Other than we can go. Did we empower them? Were they empowered? We understand, so they don't come back. And I watch a brother wake make some videos say, well, we all begin pass back again. Na Kisi Street by each other. So Monday Pawaka, we just fly go the other day. They Pawaka. Waiting we gain from there. Waiting we actually gain from there. You get the humanitarian side of things. You get drone corridor them. You get medical supply. How for use drone. We know say we'll be experiment with that way. There was another media pundit when they talk about would they use the drone for export expired drugs. But this was all part of the Dubai setup. So now technology at play, how for go land, how for use them in there, use drone for deliver drugs, medication in this sense, in far-flung areas them now the country. So this was all part of it. So the president and the entourage fly, and we need to understand so where the president they fly. We barely need to know the people that will make up the delegation. And normally this need for be or supposed for be a transparent process. Let's say if the government will go by a fisheries summit, for example, you go expect the minister of fisheries for the day. And if they go meet another government, a foreign government, most likely you go expect the minister of foreign affairs for be there. People that we get for coordinate everything for the president. Not necessary at that particular moment there because long before the summit there, they include the president. The groundwork has been laid already. Sometimes it takes 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, sometimes a whole year. Then, especially when it comes to negotiation activities, the president will get all the people that were necessary. They go make the discussions and what have you. So once they finally arrive, then the president will go put ink or pen paper or pen paper. In other words, for go sign, for make the agreement become binding. Okay? Almost similarly with sword turning. I've been talking about this some time ago, sword turning. Same thing. Before the president, they go break grounds for a particular program. President, not a small person. The groundwork has been done. If in a project, that project, they don't go through all the phases. Technical, financial, expert, consultants, and you name it. All of those phases is gone through. When the president come, now for can initiate the beginning of what in that project they supposed for represent. Now spare me 1 minute, please. Yeah. What in that project they supposed for represent. Okay? That's what the president can do now at that particular point there. like I say, having constraints in terms of broadcast. So dear una, forgive me. Me where they talk to una, me name Prince Emil Koma, and they talk to una this evening from the United Kingdom, and something we very important. This program will have to be repeated somehow, and we'll get for start bang on time. So when the president can't turn about dirty or turn about sword, now because everything is done. But time and time and again, we've seen sword turning turn to 2 years, 3 years. Sword turning means groundbreaking ceremony. For can put waiting, then we don't agree, say then they can put now like the bakery, for example, like the airport, for example, where the president built fence, where in West Binde the number one cheering squad for the president. Where I find kind of amusing, yes, you can cheer your husband, but sometimes it's just over the top and look a bit childish. You know, because there's more work to be done, unfortunately, that ain't they happen. So, Fambulem, having said this, the Dubai Summit now be art and culture, and I mean they on display. Art and culture, and I mean they on display. I repeat, art and culture was on display. So, on that basis, we go show we own. But this showcase will go showcase we own. Did we actually carry indigenous culture? Or culture itself don't transform into something else, meaning something else. I don't understand. I don't want to think so. But then we'll have to keep asking and seeing whether we've moved away from traditional to something else. But certainly, some of the things that we see come out Dubai wasn't, culture we sabi. Of course, I'm a fairly big guy. So I don't think so. Now make they say probably things don't change. But within the context of this Dubai summit, Fambulem, here is the thing. We talked earlier on that every time when the president travel, and rightfully so, we the taxpayer then get for shoulder that burden day for make sure say the president a day in the right state, of course, from the beginning before we elect her, a day in the right state of mind. In this case, when it go, everything is being prepared for him, both before he left, after he left, and during the time where he did in patrol. So that they cost the country a substantial sum of money. And the thing will make this very interesting at this time is because the country they go through very, very difficult a short period of time, half a year. That record is on them. Up till now, imagine that's before they assume power. That if they did take power, they will fix the problem because they knew there was an economic problem. Now they are almost 4 years on, that economic problem has not been fixed. All along, it wasn't because the rest of the world was going through difficult times. And I mention this because suddenly, people who support the president are now on media saying that even the world is going through difficult times, which is true. But for equate that with that NASA alone, and the reason why I go back for say, we've been having our problem, for ages, economic problems for ages. Okay? It's never been solved. And it just the skyrocket, the prices of goods and services just getting out of control. There are no control mechanism in terms of prices. Then you want to compare them to very advanced nations in the West. I hear a government minister, they go to the length for broke down statistically about a kilo of rice or a cup of rice to a kilo of rice, and how many kilo make that bag of rice compared to your own bag of rice. In other words, how then arrive at some of the figures then for justify the cost. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Are you making the kind of money that the people now this side who say they try for compare are making? Are people gainfully employed that you're paying them, that even though inflation can be part of the problem, but at least they're working and getting some money that then we're able to afford this? Are you? But we'll come back again to that shortly. There's so much that I want for breakdown. But again, like I say, when they talk about the Dubai Expo 2021 summit where the president went to, where, not to normal, but not the most recent one, where every time when they go to the summit there, and then other waka waka there, then they try for tell we say now investment business. So because of this talk here, I want to touch on the issue of investment a little bit. Because Fambule need for understand waiting at investment, waiting at the climate for their investor income, whose kind company they would look for, waiting investor mean for a country, and waiting government need for do, government for don't do the needful, the due diligence, and etc. before you they talk about all of that. The question here is, has our government done this? The problem is, we are losing investor then. Serious investor like, how you call them, and Dangote Cement. These are the kind of investors then that we are talking about. Because this is a multi-million-dollar outfit. A multi-million-dollar corporation, organization, Dangote Group. And somehow, one of them branches, one of them franchise, ended up in Sierra Leone, the cement side of things. Which is a good thing for us, because that should have helped for alleviate problems economically. A, it will have provided employment for we people, then get paid, then self-pay tax into the system. B, that will have helped, to bring about economic competition in terms of the product with them in the market when as cement. So therefore, we people then get a choice right there. It's not only Leosem, but this time you get Dangote Cement as well, and I think there's one more there. So that will bring price competition, so at least we people them in the middle go able to afford. But then again, it's not the case. Why? We need to find out, but one of the reasons we suppose is a lose-lose for the company. The economy, they're in bad shape. The Leones is plummeting. You get for buy foreign goods for brand come inside, whether na materials and for process, whatever, and you get for look for the money for buy them. So in other words, because the burden get passed on to the consumer, this then becomes a problem. That's why you hear people and they complain, because they can't continue for shoulder the cost at a losses. After all, a business nine and they run. The catch here is the people themselves continue for feel the heat because they get for buy. So what thing happen? You get less and less people get money now for buy. So company they sell less and the losses and then go begin cut down on people them way they employ, because then they make much money for keep up that workforce. So then they begin have a trickle power that then they provide job for make job, create embassy under, put 6 people in there, create one ministry under, put 15 people in there. Come on. That's not serious. You cannot be serious. So these are the kind of effect. But again, like I say, within the context of Expo 2021, here is the thing, Fumble. And we really need to be serious and take this thing seriously. Because I get a guest on Friday. I've not stopped thinking about our guest because he said so many critical things them, even though lightheartedly, but they were deep and serious and very, very profound. Like, for example, is this government taking the people of Sierra Leone for granted? I mean, this is not hard call, but at the same time, when you look at circumstances, it's like, well, probably or most likely because of activities. You they go submit and you tell people, they say, now this you they go for, but then you turn out doing something else. So are you using that as an excuse for people and not for riled up? When I say riled up, like for get upset, I don't mean for go protest and what have you, but people they get so upset by understanding like, but you tell me one thing, but now other thing you they go do, but this other thing you tell we say you they go do, now for let you calm we down, for let we get hope, because it get almost a kind of biblical them what we talk about, look like. So in Expo 2021, then tell we say, then also go for an investment, business. So for justify these millions and millions within they spend, we make we for ask the question, who profits? Who profits? Because certainly the nation is bleeding, the coffers of government is bleeding, we are only taking out, we are not putting back. So that is serious, and that's having a significant impact on we people economically. Poverty is on the rise. These are the indices, the indicators them. It's on the rise. There is plenty of talk, but no substance at all. And we people and they in bad shape. We know this because we talk to we people and our people and talk to us. So we know. And even if they not talk, just looking at the economic situation alone, inflation on the rise. Some people then believe they with the inside hyperinflation. Because now this can happen. You see the circumstances in terms of prices. Skyrocketing, soaring, scarcity of goods and services, money no there for buy. So less and less goods there at the market. And then boku money there where you get forget like wheelbarrow full up, they go chase the thing. And then with the you say money not in a bank. Remember, this is no secret. Bank governor don't declare say money not in a bank. But in the meantime, we know there were truckloads of money being siphoned elsewhere. While we people and they go team up under the sun, they wait for draw lily money, and even if they want to get any money, waiting and want for withdraw out of their own money is still not available. This is really bad. But when they talk about investment, we want to look at investment from this perspective here of how you call them the president in Goan na Dubai, this Expo 2021. Okay, Fambulen, this is important. When we talk about investor them, especially for a country, because normally we can use that terminology there, even at we local level. What I say at we local level, those of us where they do half business, because that's investing anyway, investment for putting, and when you put in, you go expect for get out. But then you can create, some kind of job for others, whether not one person now you employ. But investment mean for put, your fund inside a pot or into something. But when you do that, you'd expect a return. But in so doing what you put, you create. So we all in a halfway, but who of we get business, then don't have return, who they run, who that get shop, who that get table, who that get container, who that get this. But this not all the kind investment this way government they talk about or for they talk about. Not at all. When you talk about investment, you want to talk about multinationals, for example. You want to talk about the Siramco then, yeah? You want to talk about London mining, where get problem or the government get problem with them. And we will talk about that again briefly. Can you imagine? Government has a problem because another government signed a deal with these particular people. One other government come and scrap them, despite the looming economic disaster. You get for ask what are they thinking about, because there could have been a point, for look into anything there. But if we go accept the maxim, say, government is a continuation, development is a continuation. All of these things put together is not an event, not continuation. So you can set up a committee for look into certain things then, see the possibility of whether contracts can be revoked or rescinded without impairing yourself. Because in the case of London mining, now it happened. Government will come in, incoming government, no lack the outgoing government in contract with and sign. So using the leverage, using the power, then decide for renege on the promise where the predecessor be not signed. Now this doesn't go down well with serious companies them that are listed, because serious companies are listed on the stock exchange. They are floating. And now them kind of company they are, them kind of organization they are, pardon me, now then you want now your country. Them kind of organization where they float or listed now the stock exchange are the kind of companies that you want now your country for can invest. Because when they can invest, they're able for make significant inroads into your country in form of help for change the narrative on the ground. They're able for employ thousands of your people and ease the burden politically, economically, and socially on government. Yes, they can. So I mean that kind of company they need for encourage. But because your friends signed a deal where you not like, you not look into the repercussion as how it will impact the country, including yourself, because now you didn't have the hem of power. You renege on the promise. And as we speak, these people then are caught. I think a court of arbitration rule against we. So we supposed for pay these people, I think, billions or millions. Yeah, I need for go study me word again. But I know that a court of arbitration rule against we in favor of the company. And remember, very powerful country then get interest in this. The United Kingdom, for example, the United States, and they talk about this mineral company we they call London mining. You see, all them people there, Sierra Uta, we get the potential for employ thousands and thousands of people. You go femplaba with them. But again, on the other side, Fambulem, let we look at what constitute a good country we investor them, then go definitely want for come in. I want for let we look at that briefly. Waiting constitute that. There are few criteria. There are many, but there are few criteria which are really critical. The reason back why I they bring this kind up, now for let we understand something, because we people they need for begin for understand something. Like I say again, I've been get a guest on Friday. We talk about many things. And he makes some things, yeah, so light, although really serious. And he's serious about them. But sometimes in your grief, you get for laugh it out. Other than that, you become too stressed. Okay, you become too stressed. And one of the things that I recall that guest kept saying is, these people, that's not the government now, then take we for granted, and are we the people for granted. Because some of them things they are waiting to do, if they're not being taken we for granted, they will not be doing them. It's not like that we not full man them. We don't know. And some of the reason in this why they bring this kind to fumble them. And remember, this is not the then and now media platform empire, where they bring information to people and so conscientizing the unconscious minds, so that when they make decision, that decision will be based on information we're quite relevant to them. At least they know they go make decision blindly. They understand A from B. Because sometimes, again, these governments take advantage of we, the people. And it seems like in this case, this is so it be. So I mean, they talk about criteria them. And the reason again back family why they bring this come is this. If you left, you say you go bring investor come, then we the people need for understand how real that is. How do we factor that out or figure that out? It's this way. Because for let investor come, and when they talk about serious investor, and I can talk about that earlier. For let investor come, the climate has to be conducive. The climate has to be conducive in many different respects. We go talk about the strength of your economy. How strong is your economy? Remember, I talked about the Dangote effect earlier on, and the cement, try for give illustration in that elementary way, this way we understand. So, every day, you local currency, it swing from left to right, it shake from right to left. It feel like an unsettled boat or an aeroplane where they try for fan, in height and level. So, it go through that turbulence day. But at some point, it need for rest. It need for find a state of equilibrium, a state of rest. Same thing with the boat. They go through choppy waters. And at some point, hopefully, it find water way steady. So it's steady. A typical illustration what they try for make with regard to the economy. But for 4 years running, imagine you have a 5-year mandate. For 4 years running, you have been unable to fix the economy. Instead, the economy is just getting worse and worse. So we're still in choppy waters. We still the fet with turbulence with the economy. No investor, no serious investor comes into that, because that's a recipe for disaster, Fambulem. This is not a rocket science, not complete disaster for any serious investor. And no serious investor go look at that. And remember, these investors, they are talking and saying a pigeon, they talk pigeon here. So between themselves, they are having these conversations. They know the country called Sierra Leone. Then get a chronological map them, they can look. They know, where for look for information, research materials. In fact, they don't even bother. They get people that will just descend onto them and then get in significant places. Then you can just visit the World Bank website, and see everything where you want to see the IMF, or visit some serious embassy them website. They tell you about each and every country. The prognosis of each and every country then will tell you. So investors know these things. So the strength of your economy. So the point here is with regard to ours, but we all know not a hidden secret. It's not like we are rejoicing over it. We're just to say the facts, what the facts are. And these are the things that we want to expose. In a controlled fashion, this matters. Both for if people and they inside, that's just for illustration. And the people themselves within are the gun, because it has no control inside they can't fall down. And a damage. And people know this. So the economy is in bad shape. So they can't keep telling us that we go bring investor where do your due diligence at home. Fambula, I hope say una get that. The other is the security situation in the country. Nobody, I repeat, they can invest in a country where the security atmosphere is so volatile, is so poor. Very, very poor. Every day where you grab, they don't choke somebody under. Every day where you grab, Allah day under. Every day where you grab, protest day under. Market woman them because they broke the table, then serve dinner treats. The investor then they see. Foreign embassy then they see. And then they send them reports they are back around the world, and then they collate them reports they are. And over a period of time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year, okay, then tabulate them for figure out percentage-wise what they can give the country in terms of representation on the democratic map. For we country, again, we are not making this up. The facts are all over the place that the security situation is really, really bad. Yes, we are not fighting a war. Yes, there are no gunshots being heard, throughout the streets on a daily basis. But just the uncontrolled atmosphere, with sometimes government they meddle upon other things them, with sometimes the opposition, especially the number one opposition, with threats, but coming largely on the back of government. Inviting, we never seen enough for invite government official, like you invite Samora, for example, there's a host of other people where they can follow Samora dong na tong. I mean, how clever can this be? How much you need for figure this out? Because this is the thing. Your office day now a congested place. A congested place. And you they invite the leader or a champion inside the opposition party for can answer questions. Inside the heart of the city. But come on, man. You intelligence sources, they don't brief you as to the ramification, the consequences, the feedback on what can potentially go happen. That just by the nature of we people them, where if you want to call them busybody, that's okay. Everybody go be so curious. Just coming to that Charlotte Street, imagine that entire place there, how congested that place is. So people they want for see who that they come, then go left for do waiting and they do. Tiff man and they pan tiff yonder because now the moments and now they can wait for. But the thinking turn the whole city upside down. And it take a while if you know they right now the center spot, because you hear the noise and the flurry of activities, you get confused and worried and insecure as to waiting to happen. On top of that, the people they want to invite, some of them get huge amount of supporters or followers, where you want to follow them to them particular places. Then they all not get for go inside the office, but just imagine, then crowd and then they can't mix with the other crowd them inside an already congested place. What signal does this send? What signal does this send? Una been do the same thing earlier on. Una invite the ex-president. Imagine how hugely popular this guy is. Una invite and down now una office at that crowded place. What do you expect to happen? I mean, sometimes they can tell like say, now make we ask the question whether these people are really serious. Whether they're really serious or they take we for granted. That we need to think as such. That we people them are not thinking on a higher level. That you invite ex-president Koroma, a man still hugely popular to this day, which you may not like, but that's just the fact. We've seen it on a daily basis when he go, when he come. What happens? He upturns the current president and in many, many ways. And then you invite Andong at that same tight office day with all of that crowd. Imagine. I think that the ex-president come back to that same thing and in the end we'll discuss how Usai for go meet. The same thing could have been done for other people or just move that office day away. It's simple from there. Can't go to an isolated area. You can do that. You don't have to be in the center of Freetown because there's a nature of a security threat by virtue of what you do. Then people and the way they call any, a ramshackle can happen. Anything can happen. You get people that when na monga fear them, na troublemaker them. They know how to steer up trouble. Instead of you kill one off. Instead, you get all three together. I think na oxygen and waiting again. I even forget me elementary things them about fire. Then criteria then they. So I mean, just to talk about the security situation, I spent quite a time on it because it's quite important for let we understand them in that context there. The other one are the democratic process. The democratic process. I mean, yes, we've had, I think, 5 elections, which is a good thing in many respects. But there are challenges. And there will be challenges. But some of the challenges are challenges which we have artificially created just for sustain we self na power. And for do so, it puts strain on the democratic process and make the process itself become very, very questionable. Very, very questionable. And like I say, we international guarantors. These people know exactly what thing they happen. They are aware. Because then just did it as observer, not to like mama and papa where then can beat you, take ratlan or whatever and can't switch you. No. But they are there observing, they are there compiling reports, and then things then are for a particular moment. These reports are compiled and then get impact. Sometimes it's long run, sometimes it's short run, but it can have impact on how they're supposed to help the country, how they're supposed to help you. That's why then they compile them reports there. So if the report good, then can incentivize you, then can reward you by giving you grant where we they celebrate grants. We not even know how much loan we get. So this democratic process itself is in question. It's in question in many respects. Because the people cannot willingly express themselves. They can't. We know this. We know they talk about the few efforts that have been made, which we need for commend the president for, which is like, for example, taking Part 5 off the civil libel law. But there's a replacement to that, even though it's not been tested proper yet. But so ridiculous and out of date, archaic was the civil libel law, especially Part 5, which was repealed. That if I be not die a long time ago, but yet he been did a subsequent president and they all come they use them. So therefore this president should be commended for having the audacity and the gut for say finally this need for go. And that was a campaign promise, he kept it. So we need for say thank you to that. But there are many other things where they happen. Nepotism, for example, inside a democracy, it's not tolerated, it's not supposed to happen. Cronyism. Because these are where the elements of corruption can come up from. Because I favor my cousin, I favor that me auntie Anna because now we all come out down river. This is exactly outside the corrupt practices then can begin. And we see a lot of that, including the delegation we go Dubai. A lot of it was made up of family members and friends of the presidency. It wasn't all inclusive. It was like payback time or for loyalty. So these are all elements of corruption and put strain on the process called democracy. This is a violation of the principle and the faith in democracy, democratic good governance. Surrounded by only people of your kind and forgetting to know that it's an entire nation. That in itself is a problem. And these investors, they know as well. Because these are all recipes for disaster. Another thing, we're very, very important. Of course, all these key indicators are important. Every one of them, they complement the other. And imagine if all of them, they at work. These are what constitute a vibrant country. So that other key one is energy, where we all know. Energy, where we all know. Yeah? Family, forgive me, I tell you, say we operate under constraints tonight. But all the same, we are happy that we are getting along with this program. Thank you so much for your understanding. Thank you so much. Would I ever give that thumbs up? I appreciate that. It's important that we keep this conversation ongoing. Okay? So the other important element in terms of investor confidence is that of energy. Now, whether the kind of country where you barely not get light or the energy where you get is not even enough for domestic consumption. It's not even enough for meet up that domain. Now they understand why some people can bring extra means for can supplement what already exist. What I mean by this, like the former government bring boot camp for can help for supplement already waiting been there in existence. So that way company then come or then go able for showcase say, but we able, yeah, this is we outage, we power outage. This is what we have. Because investor want know all of that inside the portfolio, where you go invite them for can invest in your country. So that make you can see both them can partner water for help. Ghana did it, few other countries then do them. Because if you don't get that capacity there for bringing serious companies, they are not coming. So energy is one key factor, but we not even get enough for domestic consumption. So Fambulem, una tell me now who serious investor they can do. In other words, Fambulem, the thing where they try for say, and then points there where they try for highlight. Now for sure say, if these people, when I say these people, they talk about the president and the entourage, then we every time then they tell we say na investor na and go for. I mean, if you're not getting elements there is no serious investor where they can run your country. No, not at all. Not any serious investor. Because say na disaster you the camper, na losses na you the camper. Now would I get any kind of money then they for come and just can't, for can't go away? Would I get any kind of money then they no. And at the time where serious company like Dangote, they left. We know they say other companies not will come, but we need to do an understudy as to why Dangote left. On top of this, we know the cost for material them, the cost for production, keeping up your work at them. All these could be elements of why the company was no longer sustainable and then get for left. You get for go look for an environment way more conducive, outside then go able for operate without fear and then make money and make everybody happy and then self live happily and safely and securely. But not at our place. Not at our place. This is no celebration because it's not loss for we people and a loss for we country. But if we not call them as it is, then obviously we are not a serious set of people. We are not. We are definitely not. And at that message there now, we need for begin sending kind of message there to government. So government is fully aware that we are not having any of this. That this cannot be right. So energy is one serious factor. And we know in us alone, we get serious energy problem. The production rate will get and not even enough for local consumption, domestic consumption. Just the host then we did it. Before you talk about factory levels of proper electricity or energy as a whole. I remember one other popular social media pundit get the audacity for can talk say then they bring a car plant. I mean sometimes these people can just sit down, government just feed them this rubbish through their minions them. And then you not get your own hate for think. A car plant, you know what's in a car plant, you know what it contain, why don't you do your due diligence before you can media and can make a mockery of yourself? This is why we say, una think so una they make fun out of the Sierra Leonean people, but I have no doubt in the Sierra Leonean people because they can cry for a long time, and it can be sorrowful for a long time, it can be pitiful for a long time. But what I do know about them is like they always have the last laugh. Okay? The last side will be in terms of criteria for investor and for Canada country, they talk about serious investor them. And then they talk about cutthroat investor them. And they talk about serious one them. Now relationship. Remember earlier I say development, governance is a process and not an event. That relationship, yes, sometimes it can be toxic. It can remain toxic. But there is a middle ground who say yesterday and today, then and now, he meets in the interest of the people. Because why? Governments come and go, but the people remain. Governments come and go, but the people remain. It is this but or the people in the middle of this relationship between X and Y we can prevent or suppose for prevent then toxicity then identity politics, because it has to be collective. Whatever we do, we represent a demography, the entire country, not to one corner. So for the sake of the people, we always the middle, we are the talk about in the terms of political party them, we have to let go. We have to let go. Because we will not let go, now we people and they suffer, really suffer. And again, people them now make una need for wise up, una need for think. Who do you vote for? How do you vote? Either you need for give you vote for 5 years. 5 years not to pick and play. We don't get this experience few times now. You don't see as election they come, they don't begin. And they can't pick up steam just not. By next month, month after next, then go they can't knock the much by you. Then go can't count 500,000 give you. Then go send motorcar, but drop one bag rest yonder. Yes, all of this. Drop one bag rest yonder. Do you drop one bag tomatoes and salt and this and that? Why? Because election they come. Sometimes it can take a while for let you catch up. But you know, say nothing for nothing. Now the relationship this now. Nothing for nothing. It is true because you don't expect for let them give you free. Either you work or they need you favor. In this case, we talk about political favor. So Fambulen, let I tell you this. You need for really think. Where person can give you back rest in 50,000 or 500,000, no hesitate for taking because why? You have to leave. Pardon me. Why? You have to leave. Yeah, you understand? You have to leave. Okay? You have to leave. So now one of the reasons and why make you they take them. But it not mean say that when you take them, you get for another obligation day. It sound like it's unfair because then get people and with principle way, then go say, but waiting at the reason why they take them if I not get for do what they do. But sometimes, you know, yeah, if them people are a politician and they've been serving, the likelihood of that money they wouldn't buy that rest they with being your money will not reach you is very high. And that same stolen money, now they go buy rest so in other words, they can't take your own oil for fry you. So decision time, now I make with the talk na media left, right, and center. You get for know how, who that, when, why you they cast your vote. Because now for 5 years. You get for get assurance. You get for try for get assurance from your political party, your political candidate them on the basis of policy and assurance. What can they do for not only you personally, and it should not be about you personally. What can they do for your community? What thing they can do for your community? Imagine this, you know, because we become selfish by nature and we're politicians and don't help for polish that particular nature they in we. Because the maxim of divide and rule is high in the head. If they can keep we divided, as long as we see eye to eye, they can play on you, they can play on me, they can play on Nandi, they can play on Mata, Yebu, Sampa, Yeno, and can play on every one of them individually, and it works. But as a community, if we know what we want, and we all champion we cause together, we lay we case before them, whether they can't talk, all of them boku talk, because they want you vote, we get assurance for them, then we as a community, we profit. Not personally saying that you one grain in a community of poverty, you get a high rise. Now you also know when now they light the shine. We picking the one study, then therefore come closer to your fence so that your lights go straight on the copybook and or the textbook so they're able for read. How do you feel? How do you feel? But we they say, if we're not able to talk to the politician them as a group, as a community, that benefits will come must be for the community. So instead of you go big for let them put solar panel now you compound, you can ask for let them put on a street light. The street light benefits everybody, including yourself and your family. But your community benefits, so you sleep at night in peace. You know the members say that they can't cut your throats. So the other thing we're going to talk about is relationship, and the last one, this one I want to talk about in terms of the quest about investor and invest good for the people. The principle of utility. Sometimes you want to pronounce this whole word utilitarianism, yeah, Jeremy Bentham. I can get tongue-tied. But it's about the greater good. Now that's how they try to say. Government renege on promise. One government been there, a signed contract. Then when the next government come, they renege on that contract day. They revoke the contract. Now can you imagine that? So somebody don't invest in billions, in millions, only for their government change hand and then everything, into the dustbin or all over again. Also, all government and they appreciate and companies they appreciate and accept that. So if one company become a victim of that, Well, trust me, they are going personal and it don't become a vendetta. Then go make sure say they spend money that nobody goes to you. No serious company. And here is the thing. It's probably why as also cutthroat company and now they see. What I call cutthroat company. Remember them funny Turkish company they will see. Them Babadi and Co them, then this, that, some funny Turkish company and then a tongue. We're not listed. When you try for look them up, you can't even find them because they barely don't exist. Maybe they just make them up again for some money laundering or something else. You don't find them. They really don't exist. So such are the kind of companies then that just they float all over the country. Can you imagine that? Somebody sabi the president or a sabi the president in bodyguard, then pass to they bring one chap company because they get 5-10% of whatever then they bring come for can exploit the country and exploit with people them. That are the kind of control company then and they. As I be the president in bodyguard, as I be the president in aid, I get connection with somebody where one can explore diamond. But you can explore diamond, you know the count your portfolio and company and can sit down, let you understand and talk and see what kind of company you are. Both side, nothing straight. So whether person they can afford can exploit with people them and not get no sober employment method or amount of people that we go employ as opposed to multinational companies. Like Siramco, like Sierra Rutile, like London Mining them, and the other affiliate bodies, them serious company we go employ thousands and thousands of your people and reduce the burden on you, economic, political, and social burden. So things they go fine, people and they make money, taxes being paid, money they go around, and you government can carry out your services. Less problem, less of a problem. But you depend control, you depend tell people and that without doing the work you're supposed to do. Because once you get these things done in your country, these are portfolio by themselves, where they encourage investors and for kind of your country. You strengthen your currency, work, make your economy strong. You strengthen your security situation, provide a conducive atmosphere, let peace reign, let people and they smile and gladly and they go about their business, not to so thief. Sometimes we cost the thief man there, but the thief man, if he been get woke, I sure say he not been born like thief man, he they go woke. But we not they. And the basic need for survival line there on top of everybody in head. Everybody in head. So in terms of difficult court or still they indulge or imbibe themselves in that kind activity then you don't hesitate for throw the full weight of the law. But you get a country where poverty they go up. Then talk about rest. People then can't even buy bag of rest because how much money you they make for let you buy rest now at this cost. When minister then they go na TV and radio station, they pull vein at them throat for try for explain say this problem is global. When did it become global? We know say that there's a global economic downturn. They are strange right now. But you go compare yourself to UK and Switzerland and the US and what have you. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth richest nations on earth. Then they go through the motion. Same thing, petrol being short the other day. I mean, waiting until we know say there's an energy crisis anyway. Because people like we they looking at the background. But what we were told is because of tanker shortages or drivers, therefore petrol na the pump being kind of short. Okay? We don't turn until now, even though we own problem completely different from that, as if they get the same problem. I mean, even in the UK, even in America, even in this. We cannot be serious. And those of us who support that, it's really not of any good or benefit, to we. We really did, even when we did support, but let we try for be critical. We have to be critical because you go to fool yourself and not to anybody else by continue for support when the reality is just there. Now I just explained so the issue of petrol, for example. You try for equate the two, waiting they happen and waiting don't they happen down yonder. Then now you try for say, well, not the same. Same thing with prices. Hard time saved in the UK. How many of we not able for buy rest in the UK? Una put una hand up. How many of una not able for buy rest in Germany? Able for buy rest in France? Na Spain, na Portugal, na Sweden, the United States of America. How many of we not able for buy? Where people they want to make that comparison, they say, well, at the same thing as well yonder. Remember the kind of economy where you get and how bad it is? How your currency not able for sure and up against any meaningful foreign currency? and as a consequence, people and they suffer and can't afford basic goods and services. This is what the problem is. And until we identify these problems, which we've done, but agree that this is it and we look for solution probably together, then it's not going to go anywhere, because some of us, especially key people, key decision makers, then policy makers, are in denial and want to sweep the real story under the carpet. And that does not help, because it's a matter of time. Under the carpet, space not go there again for push more dirty. You probably go there for pull all the dirty and then begin put new one. That's what it is. So the key elements of the investment climate there, government really need for look into them and sort them out. Because investors, sometimes you don't even need to go to them. They come to you. Because we can bluff about mineral resource. But if people want them, they will come. We've seen this before happen. Companies come, they can present. Or we meet up halfway. Of course, these are uncertain times, so maybe we will go big. But even if we go big then, don't we understand that they are not coming anywhere because of the circumstances in the country? The economy is bad. How you can invest your money and currency when not stable? 5 years running. How will you invest there? So the question is more rhetorical. If I ask you, will you? Una way they watch, una go do that? I'm sure no. Even if you get boku money for two away, the situation of the security in the country has to be remedied. It has to be remedied. There has to be some degree of mutual respect for fellow Sierra Leoneans then. The case of Ali Foster, who understands it, they're not free. Why keep that Bobo in jail for this long? Why? Why? The man not explain. Simply because you didn't have power, and every time you did demonstrate things there, which amounts to lawlessness, threats, and violence. This is not the definition, the dictionary definition for terrorism. The deputy minister of internal affairs. You and Ingo sit on a studio, you say something where you not like. He go vex, he go knock table, and he go threaten you, say, well, we'll see, we'll meet outside. Can you imagine that? And other foreign people, and they watch this thing, and they know the guy entitled, very senior man, key man at the government, and he is still there. He is still there. If you not been encourage him, he will not be there. He will not be there because you go get rid of him. Because this is not a good image for we country. And imagine that investors are equally watching this. That's the deputy minister who is responsible for security. Internally, the entire internal security rests on the man in shoulder. And here he is on public platform, beamed to the entire nation and to some part of the world. The knock table and threaten guests simply. Then criteria they are, if then they investor then go come. Peace and security in the country. When are you going to let him go? Even though judge don't say when I grant the man bail. The bail condition don't take a different controversy. So all that time, 14 months where the man don't spend in jail, finally then give him bail with them for don't get a long term, then create all kind of avenue for say he's a flight risk, he's this, is that, but finally then come to the conclusion, say, we forgive him bail. When they give him bail again, the bail condition don't become another issue for discussion, meet the bail condition, this, that, and what have you. And at time now they go back so, and we understand, say the man not sick, that to the point where the chief medical officer himself has confirmed that the man is unwell. So finally, if you go get for left arm because you don't want to let it die in a jail and you go left arm, then months later, weeks later, the young man perish. And you think, say, you go scot-free. You see, then they really don't pass away. Authorities then can get away with them things then. Because you are going to be accountable for all of these things. You are. You're not going to walk away scot-free. Yeah, you definitely not. So, Famulem, President Bio is not able to attract any of the heavyweights in terms of investment. And not a rocket science because the climate is not okay. If that part did not make the climate okay, definitely, by now what you would see, or for the see loads and loads of investors them, they cannot the country. Because we get potentially waiting and want. But if the economy bad, they're not coming there because it's a lose-lose for them. If the security situation is not healthy, it's not conducive for provider atmosphere, the way they go operate in peace and harmony, they're not coming there. They are definitely not. If the democratic process is in question, they're not coming there. There's no way they're going in there because there's too much risk. Where you go invest your money, one of the things that we put portfolio and we investor and they look for now peace, a peaceful and conducive atmosphere, so that they no say the money a coup plot they happen tomorrow morning. We don't get for one or they can destroy the machine that will cost hundreds of thousands. The energy sector, we need for work on them. With the far below the requirement. You can understand why past governments bring boats come. Hire that Turkish boat. Where at some point we wanna come. Out of I don't understand. We don't understand governance or a bad art or what have you. You see let the boats go. And when they unplug the thing now, you see you sitting in darkness, then you get for go negotiate with them for camp. Why not take your time and get rid of them sorrowful? Why does it have to be automatic at the peril of the nation and at the cost of your own name, if you care for your own name? So these investors are coming nowhere. I can say that. Nowhere. Pass them cutthroat one them. You know, go see Dangote, then they go them big fishing company, they will be employed, border them. They don't go to a neighboring country them. High taxation rate. Situation will go sit on a table with them. It's a give and take. Yes, we can try for squeeze them small because we're not the country and they want waiting. But we get for find common ground for meat. Because I coming nowhere in Sierra Leone. I can tell you this. At the talk about serious investor them. Not to the one we know the president in WEF. We come on Gambia, or we come on a Turkey, or we come on a Dubai, because it's a be Lady Fatima Bio, then cut corners, somebody, yeah? So, energy not they able for cope with local demand. Serious company, definitely not they come. If you continue some of the shortcomings then, like we, the government of Sierra Leone under retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, they show, no company not they come. So, it depends on waiting in the minds of the citizens. Now I make we try for conscientize this, they need for know, so that nobody they can fool with people. We can't stand by for people and for the fool with people. The circumstances has to be right. Minus these circumstances, they get no serious investors. So for tell we say you go out, you go spend $100,000 allegedly a night every time you get out of the country, and then when you go for umpteen number of days, 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, just countries. And the answers for some of these countries is no. You go say, well, you go make a traditional, you go make paddy, but not to you, they go make paddy. Then till they had to develop over a period of time. Not to you now, they can't fly go there. So you see, it seemed like a project. Now the president go there, because this they cost we, and if it cost we, and there are no fulfillments, in other words, getting back for put back inside our coffer there, then something is wrong. Something is really, really wrong. And we need for the wise up. We really need for the wise up. So we ask, just like how we ask now with flyer, Famulem. Now binary question. Say yes or no. Who do you think say they benefit from out of the trip they are? A, is it the government and people of Sierra Leone, or is it the president and Infambul? President they travel, all the way they go, they care, or Infambul then go. You get for wonder, are the kids not in school? Then go say this is personal, but how personal it is. Are the kids not in school? But probably they have been schooled privately. And if they've been schooled privately, what about the president in FQE program? Is there no faith in the program? Because sometimes you want for rule by example, or say or talk as the saying go, usa your money day. So if we got all this thing about quality, then maybe you want to use your own sources them in the first place as you ward them or children them for say, look, even my own picking and they inside this free and quality education. But no, it is not. And then they fly. And every time they fly, then self they get them per diem. Imagine this. So all of the family and then go there, all get them per diem per night, including the delegation. And when they go Dubai, they say about cultural business. But then you look around, where is the Minister of Culture? President may sign something. It was Madam First Lady who was right there at the president's side. Where are the aides? Where the Minister of Culture was supposed for day? Now who's kind of paper the president may sign? When are the First Lady now for team up day? What is going on? So we know say every time the presidents leave, in impress, what we supposed to do and take care of them, they cost the countries alone millions of dollars. Because when it go, not a small go, then it can go. And we also get for consider what I just mentioned just now, the president and the family, we all tell me the gap and go with them. We are asked the question, are the beginning and not in a school? I mean, the most valuable school time of the country. And we for the whole, lily piece and make amends with them. But, like I say, maybe in a biblical connotation, we now forget habop. Which is not question, just have faith in the process. But this process, now 4 year in a 5-year mandate, now in the council, if you not don't deliver now, and one thing where we can get confused with, proposal, project, and delivery. Most times we can say the president don't deliver. You tell me I get conversation with 2-3 guys there just yesterday. Obviously, from the conversation, you could tell that they are in support of the government, but it's like the president don't deliver. And even this Dubai trip, so I asked one of them, tell me, give me one thing where the president don't deliver. I don't say the president don't deliver, nothing. And I say this publicly, nothing. Because again, with a confused delivery, yeah? For fulfill, you promise. For deliver, now completely different thing. Fulfill your promise and deliver are completely different things. So the president not deliver it. Then things they are and they in the making the things they were hope for. But like we say again, a 5-year term almost they come to an end. And if he not deliver, I ask the guy, what he don't deliver? And then he said the luring, these are his exact words, the luring of investors into the country. So I got for tell him, fellow, go back to you wanting to do something which has not happened yet. Now you intend for do. How can that amount to delivery? And I think, say for once, me and this guy, we apparently, two of them, we apparently deceived so much so that he said that we had a civil discussion. There were no insults, and I think there was mutual respect. And as I speak today, so we are friends, and I believe, say, they watch this program. But Fambulem, this is all we have to say to you today. And we just want for Leone bear this in mind, that if the atmosphere there and not exist, investors, they talk about serious one, they're not to then cutthroat one, the way they come on, Egypt, and how you call the place, Turkey, a lot of it, then Babadi Camara investment, them. Then one day we sabi the president in bodyguard or sabi the first lady and say investor don't come in and cut them 10% and bring one cut to where they go down. And some of the district them inside gold day, go hire 2 people, them work them proper and then get enough gold, not pay no tax. Yeah, because he get a tax waiver because sabi the president in connection. Not to them can investor, not to investor in that. This one and then just they can harm with country in many ways. Then not really put in, then damage the country ecologically, and then leave all this sour footprint, no corporate social responsibility, and many more. So those of us where they support, those of us who are critical, we need for fair common ground, because if we want to do good for the government and the president, we need for hold them to account and make these things clear to them. They cannot continue for terrorism, then they go in search of investor them. And at this point, now they are one end, and because they're the most critical. They not go terrorism, then they go search for investor them. Way back home, they haven't done what they're supposed for do. I repeat. They not go terrorism, then they go search for investors them outside. At the cost to the taxpayer them of millions and millions of leons, if not in some cases billions of leons, for take care of the president and the entourage. And where President Bio go, we know say not so small going can go. Where come here, the man can almost travel na the 7 continents them every time where he go out, or extensively within the region where he go, and spend more time out than in. And we've seen this happen time and time and again. And then the confusion we can come on a state house in terms of press releases, waiting they can tell it can turn out for be something else. We ask the question, who profits from out of these many trips where the president can make? Who does profit? Is it the country or is it the people? And the answer is straightforward, but we'll let a search for everybody for answer. But finally, if these criteria them, we invest in them so much they look for, because now money they want to make, so they go look for come. But even though they go look for come and they want to make money, and the thing when they look for a day to that side day, where will they continue for go sell to them, even though we know say they know say a day, then get the portfolio, they know everything. They will not be coming, not anytime soon, because waiting supposed for exist structurally does not exist. No security, no investor. No energy, no investor. No strong economy, no investor. No relationship, no investor. So we know all of this. So una left for fool the Sierra Leonean people by telling them una go organize with the Dubai summit, una go na corner, una go organize 2-3 people away sit down, una say na investment, your forum, una go organize, because I think the first lady is some kind of ambassador with regard, here to that. I mean, this whole thing funny. Where is protocol? Where is protocol? Where is bureaucracy? Because in running government, bureaucracy quite important. But we don't wait away all of that. You don't get time for that and just to do your own thing, abuse protocol, wutete. There's something is fundamentally wrong. And I can show now that the people are watching and the people are listening. Fabulem, I tell you, thank you very much for listening. I want to tell you, say this week coming, we go get how you call them? We go get lawyer Iskandri. We can't talk about that picking where they say kill that guy because the guy allegedly be one rape him. Somehow we kill him. So we go talk to a legal mind, lawyer Iskandri. They go there on the platform very soon. We get Ponga Manosise will be on the platform this week. And I repeat, Ponga Manosise will be on the platform this week. And we expect another big one we will get for do live in London, yeah? She will be in London soon. I can just intimate that the person is a female and she's huge. And we'll go do a live interview in London. On this basis, Fambolem, I beg for take una leave. I've been your host and presenter, Prince Emil Koma. We come to una today from the city of London in the United Kingdom. Very happy that we hold this program despite all the constraints. And I hope say una go share them till the Sunday the 24th. Let other people please help for share. Una go to our page na usa una the watch show. You can like or follow we. Okay? And let we continue for comments. We expect feedbacks. But let we just try for keep on civil. We can remember, we can disagree for agree. We probably are all aiming for the same thing, but we come up from different angles. So this, you see, I know use this method for quite a long time.